All right. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for your film. I'm so excited. My name is Breven. Would you mind introducing yourself and introducing your film as well?
Okay, my name is Louise. So I'm a French movie director and actress. So my movie is called Juan. In 2017, we went back to Paraguay. I said we, but my cousin went back to Paraguay. It was my first time. So I went with my cousin to Paraguay to look for his biological family because he had been adopted 30 years before. So we had his birth certificate. From there, we started our investigation in France with the name of his biological mother, asking my aunt and my uncle who adopted him what they knew about the adoption. And from there, we went to Paraguay to search for his biological family.
You've done a wonderful job. It's such a touching film, and there's so many moments, right, that are so personal and intimate. What was it like? I mean, if as an actress as well, right? What was it like doing something so very vulnerable?
It was a big work, not only the film in itself, but to prepare Jean for it, because all the psychological aspects. So as an actress, I think it helps to work with the camera. It helps a lot, because if you're not used to work with the camera and suddenly you have to manage that and to think, oh, what shall I do? And so that helps a lot to be an actress. And I think it helps as well working with other people, because many people told me, wow, we forgot about the camera. And even someone asked me, Louise, please, can you show me again? And because I always tell people, don't worry, feel comfortable, and then we will cut. And that's what I did. I always promise the people that we can cut after the interview. And I always tell them that they will see the last cut so they can tell me. And one of the characters told me, could you please cut that? Which was one of my favorite scenes, but I did it. And so everybody feels at ease, so that helps a lot. Then I also work as a community interpreter, and I've been myself an interpreter in many cases, and in some cases for women who wanted to leave their children and for people who wanted to adopt. So that helped me about the context to understand what's going on in some people's mind. And I want to insist on the fact that from my own personal experience, all the parents I've worked with who have left their children, they didn't want to do it. And if I insist on that now, it's because I've met many people who were adopted, and they think, the ones I've met, I do not say that all the people are like this, but they don't say it directly. But for the ones who do not go for their origins, who don't want to know, you can feel, or they say it directly, or you can feel behind that the main reason is that they think that their parents did not love them. From my own experience, all the parents I've met who left their children was because they didn't have enough money. And the main reason is that one, or because they were too young and they did not feel strong enough to raise a child. Sorry, I'm getting lost a little bit. So then what I wanted to say is that because I've worked a lot as an interpreter with psychiatrists, with psychologists, with therapists, with people in different contexts, really different contexts, that helped me a lot to prepare Jean for what we could find in Paraguay. And I've really worked on all the possibilities because we didn't know what would happen. And for me, it was very important that we were not going there to make a movie. We were going there to find his mother, his family, or at least to look for her, because we didn't know what would happen again. And the second goal was to make a movie out of it. But I've always taken the risk to go without knowing if there would be a movie. That means the movie was not like, yeah, we want to make a movie. No. We go there for the main reason, which is to look for the family. Then if there is a movie, that's fine. If there isn't any movie, that was a risk both of us took. So being an interpreter helped for the camera and the contact with the people, and being a community interpreter helped also for the psychology of all the people and how to speak with the people so nobody would feel forced, everybody would feel prepared and accepted, so that they could really choose if they wanted to take part in the movie or not.
It explains a lot for me, because it felt there was a journalistic quality to it. So it wasn't a narrative, right? It wasn't, and then this happens, and then this happens, and then there's a conflict. It felt like I was really a part of a family experience. And that was really wonderful. So I feel like you've just explained a lot of the context for that, because your heart is clearly so present with this experience. And you have so much wealth of knowledge in regards to the space and the adoption space and the personal conflicts that exist on both sides with your interview knowledge and your work with people on both ends of that spectrum. So did you ever feel that you needed to get more of one side, right? More from Juan or more from his mother to represent that? It feels very balanced, but did you ever want more from either perspective or the politicians, right?
No, as you said family, and that's really what I felt like. I mean, I went for Jean, but I also went for myself. It seems a bit strange, but Jean's family is my family as well. For me, that's the way I see it. He is part of my biological family. I always get confused between biological and adopted, because for me it's kind of the same. So he's been adopted by my biological family. We are part of his, I don't know how to say it, because I feel that he's my cousin, but I'm also his cousin. I mean, it's a question of acceptance on both sides, because he could have said, no, those people are not part of my family. Mm-hmm. But as far as I know, he accepts us as his family as well. And for me, there's always been that missing part of his biological family. And because he's my cousin, they're my family too. So I've never wanted to do I wanted the movie to be really balanced. Yeah. I wanted everyone to have their voices and to share what they wanted to say. And for me, that was very, very important. So I hope we've managed to do that.
Oh, absolutely. I absolutely think so. I mean, it's so lovely. Have you followed up in regards to Rita's work and what's happening, just with all of the different persons? Is there, what is your relationship with her been ongoing in regards to tracking the different people that she has so many cases or is following?
Sorry, I did not get your question really well. Are you talking about the general situation of other adopted people?
Yeah,
or?
Yeah, the situation in Paraguay that you bring up, right? That Rita has been monitoring, and she's been, following the different families. It wasn't a very clear. I didn't ask a very good question. I'm just interested in what is ongoing and what your relationship is with Rita.
Okay. Okay. I know that Rita has helped a lot of people. What is difficult, as we explain in the movie, is that many files have disappeared. We know about the files of the French people who have been adopted at the same time as Jean. So we know that at least 5 files have disappeared from the archives of the court. I am still in touch. I am more in touch with Rosa Maria Ortiz, who's the first researcher. She's not in the movie because unfortunately we had so many people in the movie and we had to cut them because we've realized that for the audience, it would be very difficult if we have lots of characters, people would get lost. And Rosa Maria, she was the first one we contacted, and she was the one to send us to Rita. And now I am still in touch with Rosa Maria because she's still working a lot on that because she's more reactive on the internet and the way we communicate, but she's always in touch with Rita as well. What we're trying to do now, because I cannot go through personal situations because it's private cases, so it's a bit difficult to speak about that. But what we're trying to do now, and what is very important to us, is that we would like the movie to be shared in Paraguay. because it's very important for other people to see it there. Unfortunately, up to now, we haven't found any ways to do it. COVID makes our life more difficult. so we're still working on that. But about private cases, as I've told you, some of the people we've met, we know that some people don't make the research because of the context and because of what they've been told. So sometimes when people are not prepared to go further because of loyalty, because of what some people have told them, it's difficult to push them. And for me, Jean, it's different because he was my cousin. He trusted me. I've always told him, I knew from the beginning that I would go with you to Paraguay to look for your mother. I've always told him, I don't know why. I've always felt it would be that way, but it's difficult with people you don't know and you don't have the same relationship and you don't feel. Basically what happened in the movie was kind of what I expected. What happened in reality, what happened in the documentary, which is really a reflection of reality. It happened the way I expected it to happen. So it was kind of easy, I would say. It was not easy, but and because of the proximity with Jean. So for other people, I know that the movie will have an impact. I'm sure of it, because I know some people who will watch it. And I'm thinking about one person who said that she was not interested in looking for her family, but she's one of the people I mentioned at the beginning. And I know that when she will watch the movie, I know that things will go and make their ways, and I'm quite sure that she's going to change her mind and she's going to start looking for her biological family.
Yeah, I mean, you touched on that, right? The idea that there's...
I could not hear you at the beginning. What did you say?
Sorry. There is, you mentioned about the fear that you've experienced people having of thinking that someone didn't want them, right? And how deep and how hurtful that must be. But to see that, you know, that wasn't the story, right? That wasn't the reality. And as you mentioned, it isn't many realities. I'm sure that what you speak of, you know, it's heartbreaking to think that, yes, you potentially, somebody really did want to know you and want to be a part of your life.
Yes, yeah. I can give you another personal example. I was in Egypt a month ago, and I've met a woman, and she told me she didn't know her father. And I could feel the same. And I told her, listen, I'm here because she had a few elements. Her mother had told her a few elements about her history. And I told her, listen, I'm here for 3 days. I can help you and we're going to find him. And then I thought I'm crazy to tell her that because, okay, I've got some clues, but I'm not 100% sure. But I told her, unless he's dead. I did not feel he was dead, but I thought if I'm mistaken, I'm like, and we found him in 3 days. And that was the same thing. And it was just her fears because she was like, the way she spoke, she was loyal to her mother and she was scared to ask her mother. And so there was probably also the fear of rejection from her father, but first she had to go through the filter of the mother. And I told her, listen, in my opinion, it's very easy. Children first. You have the right to look for your father. Then, in my opinion, because your mother gave you some information already, she agrees for you to go and look for him. So talk to her. She sent her a message in 5 minutes, and I told her the question to ask her. In 5 minutes, she got all the answers. And then we started investigate like this. And then the second step was her father. I'm so... when I speak about it, I want to cry again. I'm so lucky that I've experienced that in my life because she finally spoke to her father 3 days later, and she went to visit him the 2 days after she spoke to him. And when she spoke to her father, she did not speak Arabic and he speaks English. And he told her, I've always loved you. And now that I've seen you, I love you even more. And I was close to her when she said that. And I was like, wow. And I know it's not the case. It would be crazy to say that it's the same case for all the people who have been left by their families. But in general, when people know about that, there's always a family around it. It's not only the biological mother or the biological father. And that person, that man was sitting next to his son. So she met her father and her brother at the same time. And what I really advise for some people who feel that they have to go for it, you're scared. But if you feel that you have to go for it, because you're going to spend your whole life thinking, and get prepared for the worst. And that's really what I did with Jean. I got him prepared for the worst. And then if you get prepared for the worst, but you really have to imagine big stuff. So if you get prepared for the worst, if you get the worst, you have an answer. And if you get a better answer, and you can really get some nice surprises. And I think what's going on now, because I've met many groups of people who have been adopted, because right now there are some groups being created in France, in Europe, and all over the world. They advocate for their rights, to know who they are, because there were lots of children trafficking everywhere. And those people talk together. For many of those, it's very difficult because there were stolen babies or fake papers. They don't know how to reach the information, and they insist for governments to help them and to conduct some independent investigations. But of course, it is hard because many governments had things to do with that. But gather, like, talk to people who are adopted. Don't stay alone. You feel that many things are not right in your head. You feel that you're going crazy. You don't know how to behave regarding your adoptive family. You don't know what's going to happen regarding your biological family. Many of you go through horrible moments. I won't detail that but people will understand what I talk about. You're not alone. You are not alone. There are many people like you now, and you will see groups emerging.
Yes, it's very powerful, and we live in such a exciting and potentially traumatic time, right? Because we might have access, right? The fact that these groups are emerging, and we are living in, a hopefully a more aware space, that there are these rights, right? People have the rights to know these things. And so that's very hopeful, right? That there's the potential for that. You've made such a wonderful, powerful film. Are you working on, I wasn't aware of how many things you're doing in this space. And that's, it warms my heart to think that you're really advocating, because I saw you do it in this film, but to know that this is part of your life work. Are you working potentially on another film with other families? Would you consider that?
Yes, I've shot my third movie, which is entitled Corona Paris Gaza, during my first confinement in Paris, with a friend who at that time was in Gaza. Now he could manage to get out, but at that time he was in Gaza. And for now, I'm still working on the distribution of Juan. So unfortunately, I cannot finish the movie, but because I produce and I distribute my own movie, I want to go further with Juan's distribution to finish Corona Paris Gaza. But basically, Abdallah is someone I met via the internet a few years ago when I was a volunteer for the Palestine Film Festival in Paris. And he took part in a video which went viral, and I contacted him to know how we could screen that video during the festival. And we kept in touch for years, and I've always had the idea to make a movie with him, but I could not go to Gaza. My first movie was screened there. He could not get out. And I was like, okay, I've got to do something online, but I didn't know what. And when the confinement started, I started filming in my apartment, and I had a map here where it was written Palestine. And then I thought, this is the moment to do it, because it's a moment to use the circumstances so that people who do not live in Gaza, who do not live under war circumstances, to make a kind of parallel. It's difficult to say parallel because the situation is so different. I mean, yes. But for people to understand maybe a little bit how it feels like to be locked at home, now everybody knows that. But with Gaza, you also have the threat of the bombs, etc., etc. So it was for me, the movie will be a way to connect people and to think, how would I be? And it's, as you say, it's family. It's a question of family being separated as well, because when, for example, I remember the first time I talked to my niece is one of the characters, because I gave her English, I taught her English during the confinement. And one of the first time I talked to my niece, I can't remember if I have the images for that, but I remember when she said, so I will not see you anymore. And we didn't know for how long we would not meet. For me, I'm used to that because I travel a lot. I'm used to communicate with people like that. I've been to Palestine many times. I'm used to family separated. I'm used, doesn't mean I accept. But to hear my niece saying that, it broke my heart, because I was like, wow, I go back to reality. Yeah. I go back to what all those people go through all the time. And so it is a family film. It is a family film because my niece is one of the characters. Then Israel is another character. He's been adopted by some friends of mine. And they will meet with Abdallah during the movie. And yes, it's always a question. I always work on topics of families being separated or families gathering after a separation. And Corona Paris Gaza is also a family story for me.
Amazing. I'm so excited to learn more about this project. And if you don't mind me asking you a question that's it's a deeply part of like my current research and my work, and that is, as you were mentioning, this is your film, right? This is an independent film that you're releasing yourself. What tools and resources, this is literally like, this is my doctoral research right now. What tools and resources would help you the most in regards to helping your film find an audience, getting it out in the world so that the people that you know that this will impact them the most, but don't necessarily have a connection to? What tools and resources would help you as a filmmaker?
Would help me? I don't know if it's a tool, but it's a value, I would say. If people could be honest, if people could be honest from the beginning, like distributors and producers, when they are not interested, to say, no, I'm not interested, that would be a huge value in terms of energy and in terms of time. Because many people, and I thank them, producers, distributors who told me, no, I don't have the time, I can't watch your movie. No, I will not work with you because I don't have the time. Thank you. Producers and distributors who told me, I'm not interested, I'm not seduced by your project, I don't believe in it. Thank you. Thank you, because we're not losing time and energy, and we're not losing trust. Because you have many people who tell you, oh, it's interesting, sorry, I didn't have the time. So you're like, I give up. And then you have people telling you, don't give up. It's really because they don't have the time. So you contact them again. And second time, third time, fourth time, fifth time. Fifth time they tell you, why didn't you contact me before? And you go like,
yeah. I mean, transparency is, are we getting at like transparency on regards to what you're...
Exactly. And if they want some excuses because they don't want to say your project is not good, I'm not interested, just tell me I don't have time. That's fine enough. But don't tell me, oh, I did not choose your project because you did not contact me before. Oh, no, it's a waste of time and energy for everybody. You have the right not to be interested in my project. There's no problem with that. But finding excuses and making me feel guilty, or trying to make me feel guilty. Why didn't you contact me before? I did. The first email, and then, or other people, because I had the case with the festival lately, who said to a friend of mine, no, but we're sorry, she's a friend. We did not take her movie because she did not send it online. I'm sorry, I've sent you an email because my movie did not comply your requirements. I wanted to sure. And then you'd say, oh, sorry, she did not send her movie. I feel completely exhausted when I hear that kind of things, because I'm like, it's such a waste of time. It's okay. You're not interested in my movie, I swear. It's okay. I mean, other people will, and it's fine. But so I don't know what kind of tool can be.
I mean, I think you're speaking to transparency, right? The idea that the industry needs to improve some clarity in regards to what the needs are, what the expectations are, and where a filmmaker goes with their project respectively, right? I feel like there's a narrative that exists that says, just go do everything, right? Go communicate with everyone, go do all the things, and then we'll choose you at our will from the other side, right? And I agree. I hope that we can move towards more clarity. Mm-hmm.
And then other things, and I don't know which tools can be done for that, but it's also a question of transparency. Then it's also a question of being fair.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, when I gave you the example of the 5th time when they told me, why didn't you call us before? And I told that person, I said, you know what? I knew someone who knew you, a movie director. And that movie director told me, I can contact them for you. Mm-hmm. And I told him, I'm sorry, I don't want to do that because, and now I'm starting to do it. I'm doing what I've said I would never do because, and I said, no, I don't want you to do that because if they are interested, they will do. And I don't want you to take me because you're my friend. When you tell me, oh, you're my friend, I will have taken you for your festival. You know, I even have one festival director who told me, Louise, you are my friend. I'm gonna take your movie. You know what I did? I felt like, I hanged up.
Yeah.
I called him, sorry, I do like that, but it was not on the phone. It was like we're talking. And I told him, I said, listen, if you take my movie because you're my friend, I don't want it in your festival. Please take it out. Mm-hmm. Take my movie because you believe it's interesting.
Value. Yeah.
You believe it is part of your program, but don't take it because I'm your friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've reached the point, and I'm really serious about that. I've reached the point where now I have to tell people, don't tell my movie because don't take my movie because you're my friend. And many people told me in artistic environments, not only with the movies, but other things, they told me, but Louise, you know, if you reach things, it's because people know you because of the network, because you're the friend, and I've always said no. And look, I've never met you before. I mean, your festival chose my movie. We have no connection at all. And many other festivals, some of the festivals now took my movie and they took El Día de la Virgen, my first movie first. But most of the festivals who took my movie did not know me. So it's not true. It's not true that you have to be the friend or the wife or the cousin or whatever. Yeah. For many people, it looks like that. And please, if you could find tools to give equal chances to everybody, it would be super happy. And again, tell me you don't believe in my project. Tell me you find my project not good enough. But don't tell me I didn't do that or that. I'm not your friend. I'm your friend. I'm tired of that, seriously.
Louise, thank you. I appreciate you. You speak to my heart in so many ways, right? You speak to my heart in regards to you made a beautiful film and you are incredibly talented, and I am excited to see more of your work, and I'm excited to go back and look at your first film as well. You'll have to share that with me at some point. And also thank you for making something so authentic, right? Something so personal and authentic and meaningful that shares a much larger story. Even though it's so intimate, it shares something that is bigger happening in the world. And then also thank you for speaking to the fact that we need improved transparency and we need art to speak for itself. It shouldn't be about who you know, right? It should be about the art, and we need to elevate the creators like yourself that are making exciting and authentic and beautiful pieces of work that can literally improve like humanity in regards to relationships. So thank you for everything, and thank you for sharing this time with me.
And I would like to say, because I've said I've got no distributor and no producer, but I've worked with an amazing team, and I want to name Salomé, who was my assistant on Juan, and all the technicians who worked with me, the editor José, all the guys, the music, the sound, everybody. They will. Sorry, I won't remember all the names because I'm really bad with names. But Lionel for the music as well. Some people were really present. Salomé was really present. Lionel, who did the music. I was depressed so many times. I felt so guilty because I've made him wait for more than a year to start, and he was always present and always very positive. And without those people, Juan would not exist today. So thank you very much to all the people who helped, part of the movie team, family, friends, for all the depressed moments when I've called you and when I've bothered you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Best of luck for your festival, and I wish we'll meet in real life.
I can't wait.
Not be.
Thank you so much. Bye.